Thank you.
Tell our viewers, what is the Zion Christian Church?
The Zion Christian Church is a church that obviously affiliates to Christianity, and it was incepted in 1910 by the first head of the church by the name of Lekganyane.
Your church actually has 15 million members. That's twice the size of Israel. That's more than all the Jews in the world combined. How does that affect your support for Israel?
This affects our support for Israel, in the sense that Israel obviously is a holy land, where obviously the affiliation of getting into the church was encouraged by this very holy land.
Now, we don't get a lot of support out of South Africa, so your church is very significant. Do you think because of the support we get from your church, there will be more political support for Israel?
Definitely, because we all believe that we are all made in the name of the Lord up there. And when he looks at us, he looks at us as nothing else but same humanity, same Homo sapiens. And again, at the end of the day, because of the high religious Holy Land, at the end of the day, there will be a support, because we all believe in the Lord, and He's the only one who can even give us hope for the future.
You are here on a big delegation. You've brought all the church leaders to meet with leaders in Israel. What is something that you've seen that's really been a surprise to you while you've been here in Israel?
When we arrived here, we came across something very, very impressive, where, the Jews, the Arabs, the Christians, praying in nothing else but the Lord up there, in harmony at all times. And it is this harmony that at the end of the day gives us hope for the future.
People are very surprised to see the peace of Jerusalem. As you mentioned, there are 3 distinct faiths, but everyone gets along. We're the safest capital in the world. What do you think is the future of the peace of Jerusalem?
The future of the peace of Jerusalem is very, very bright. Never mind it takes us long a time to be aware of the warmth and the mercy of the Lord God. But at the end of the day, we are arriving there.
God commands the people to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Does your church take part in the prayers for the peace of Jerusalem?
Definitely, our church is an international church where it prays for everybody, particularly the peace of Jerusalem, where all our hearts, wherever we are, we think about it, kneel down and request God to make sure that at the end of the day we become one thing, nothing else but the children of God.
One of the most important diplomatic efforts of the State of Israel is faith-based diplomacy. That's people who have faith getting involved in the political process. Do you see your 15 million member church getting involved in electing pro-Israel parliament members maybe in the future in South Africa?
Yeah, definitely. That will happen. As long as we are here, believing in what God gives us and what He instructs us to do, that will happen.
We've seen a new shift in support from Africa to Israel. Our Prime Minister has been there twice this year. Do you think this is going to continue in other places around Africa, this new relationship between Africa and Israel?
The new relation is something that obviously it's a present from God. It's a gift from Him. And at the end of the day, the Lord will really make sure that He gives us all the answers and save us as nothing else but Homo sapiens, belonging to one God at all times.
Reverend, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for a viewing audience?
The message that I have to the audience is that there is nothing and nothing best than harmonizing. The way in which we are able to react to one another, respond to one another, and give guidance that never mind we are so many churches, But what remains a fact is we might be praying from one point to another, different in diversion, but at the end of the day we've got one God who will finally make sure that we get the reward, of course, requested by us from Him.
Reverend, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein.